I know that this has been talked about already, but I haven't seen you all in a while. But it was the delivery of thoughts to pen, to paper, to spoken word for me. It was that yellow coat for me. It was the porte-bras or the carriage of her arms as she delivered said words for me. You all, it's all about Amanda. Period. Finish. Period. Finish. Period. Finish. That's it. Let's get into it. Take 9. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, coming to you from what looks to be a soon to be. Oh, we're already starting off with words, with what looks to be a snowstorm that is happening on this lovely Saturday morning, soon to be afternoon. It's midday for me right now. It's January 29th, 28th, whatever Saturday is. You all, the dates, we've been through this. What is time? It's the last weekend of January. It's crazy to think that February is literally right around the corner. Like I said, we're supposed to get a lot of snow here in Chicago. So super excited about that. Mostly because then I get to stay inside and craft. So welcome back to any of my returning peacemakers, and to anyone who is new checking out this video for the first time. I hope that you all enjoy all of the yarny goodness that's here on the Piece4PeaceCrafting channel. How is everyone doing? Hopefully well. Like I said in my last video, just moved. So for me, the past 2 weeks, I know the last video came out on the 18th, I think, so Monday. So I'm a little bit, it hasn't really been 2 weeks, but for me, it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, just myself and the housemates getting acclimated to being in the new space, figuring out where things are gonna go. We spent a lot of yesterday painting a couple of the rooms. We decided that we're gonna paint the whole apartment to make it more of our own, which we're all super excited about. It's always fun picking out paint colors, especially I've lived with people before, and trying to find colors that fits with everyone's taste is always a good time, because it's like, oh, we want something that's going to be calm and relaxing. The three of us all have a lot of artwork, whether it be dance related or from our travels and things that we want to put up on the walls to make it feel more like us. And so I think we've come up with a really cool palette. At some points, this color that you see behind me will no longer be here, but since this is sort of our guest craft Magic the Gathering room, we're kind of saving that to the end, because it's just like, we're just hanging out in here, so it really doesn't matter. We're not like living in it. So that's been fun. I probably have paint on my hands just because we've been painting. Actually, my housemates are off. They went to the hardware store right now so I could record. Well, not so that I could record, but we needed things so that we can continue doing some painting today. We're going to try and do our living room. Not that you all needed to know that, but that's kind of our game plan for the day. So it's been good. I'm loving it. It's been really nice. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else really that's happened as of late. I don't think so. So you all, let's get into it. So to start off with what I'm wearing, you all have seen this before. It's my finished slip stravaganza. I'm not going to take it off because I've shown it before. This was the, as I cover my face with it, this was the Stephen West Mystery Makealong this past October. And I did mine, the large version, all in murky depths. This will be a good quiz for me to see if I remember all the colors off the top of my head. The colors were Butte, Cornflower, Coralite, and Dark Walnut. Oof, that was good. And yeah, it was just, it's not a kit or anything. It was just, I loved the main color. The great thing about Debbie from Murky Depths is that she sometimes will list, if she has a variegated, she'll list what the other colors are within that variegation. And so I just picked out those colors and decided this was going to be my color palette. I'm loving it. Right now I'm sort of wearing it around my shoulders. It's a little bit cool in our apartment right now. I guess I should say cold. It's a smooth, like 20 degrees, it might be closer to 30 Fahrenheit here in Chicago, but the feels like temp is about 18. But we have our windows open because we've been painting, so we don't want to pass out. So I'm sort of doing it a little bit off the shoulder, giving me very much capelet sort of feel, and I'm loving it. And it'll be coming off soon because we're going to start painting. Absolutely love this. If you haven't made it, I would highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, even with the 19-hour bind off. That's a joke, clearly. Do you see me laughing? No, but the bind off does take a while. I did the large version, so obviously it took a little bit longer, but I wouldn't let that deter you from making it because it's such a awesome knit. And it was so fun to do, not knowing what it was going to look like in the beginning. So, things. Are you all ready for this FO party that's about to happen? Here we go. Let's get into it. There are none. None. Not a one. I haven't finished anything because I've been trying to get an apartment together, but I have worked on a bunch. And honestly, like, there doesn't have to be an FO every time, right? Like, we know we're not always in 2 weeks whipping something out, but I do have a whip parade for you all. Also, do you all like my little mannequin head? I love them. They're sporting my coffee talk toque right now. I got this, I helped someone, this is a random story, you all, I apologize. I got this, I helped someone at a craft fair, and it was just like in the booth with us, and I put a couple hats on it. I like crocheted some hats and was selling it just for fun. It was this other person's booth, it wasn't my booth. And when it was over, she was like, "You can take it, I don't need that." And so I painted it silver just for funsies, and she kind of needs a touch up because there's a couple spots that are a little shady. Anyway, I love it. I like blocking my hats on that thing because they fit my head once I'm done. Although I heard the balloon technique is pretty cool, where you can like blow up a balloon and put your finished hat around that and then just deflate it once it's done drying. Anyway, it's beside the point. I'm rambling. So, whips. You all, I didn't touch my socks at all. Like, they're on the back burner. They're having they're not really a timeout. It's just like I had other things that I wanted to work on, but I think I can find it. I'm gonna reach down just a second because I do want to talk about this really fast. So last time I said that someone asked in the comments if I could talk about a sock ruler, and I didn't know where it was because it was in a box. And so I found it because I've been going through said boxes. So this is my little sock ruler. It's blue. It's cute. It's like, I don't know, plastic or something. So on one side, I'm going to try not to get it blown out in the light. On one side, it's inches, and on the other side, it's centimeters. And so, like, you can see here, like, the measurements. And so what happens is I should have brought my socks in here, but I don't know where they are right now. Like as I'm going, we're gonna pretend that my hand is my sock. I can stick the ruler in there and see like, oh, I've gotten to 7 inches from the base of the heel. So this would be my heel here. And let's do like that. Oh, I'm at 7 inches. Now I can start the decreases for my toe. So it just makes it easy. I think you can use it for like the length of the leg too, obviously, whatever, it's a ruler. It's a great tool to have just so you can gauge how your socks are coming along. I've started doing mine 2 at a time, so I can just measure one and then I know that the other one is going to be the same length, which is really great. Yeah, it's just a fun little tool. And this one even has a little needle gauge. I won this at some thing that I went to, and there was one of those wheels and you could spin it, and it was like one of the prizes. So I don't know. You guys, they carry these everywhere. I think Knitpicks has them. There's fun places on Etsy that carry them that are more like fun, wood burned, whatever that's trending. And looks really hot and awesome. And yeah, go out, find one. If you like knitting socks, have at it. Get yourself a ruler if you don't already have one. I think it's a great tool to have in the toolbox. So, whips. Let's now talk about things that I have been working on. So, the first thing I want to show is I made some progress. If you follow me on Instagram, oh, I guess I should say that too. Hi, everyone. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Piece4PeaceCrafting. I'm also Piece4PeaceCraft on Ravelry. And there is a group for this podcast, the Piece4PeaceCrafting podcast group. Feel free to join it. There's a couple of people over there, a little bit of introductions and just like saying hello for right now. But I want to talk about something a little bit later that will be happening in the group coming up soon. So first up is my Wave of Change pullover that I've been working on. So this one, like you will have seen it if you've been watching for a while. I did one, I was a test knitter for it, and I made it out of Knitpicks Wonder Fluff. And so this time, because people hyped me up on Instagram when I made my Grace pullover, I had some leftover Knitpicks Wool of the Andy Bulky in the current colorway. And I showed this last time where I got just using that. Let me make sure I have the right side. And so I ordered more of it. And so my body now is complete. I absolutely love it. The color's gorge. And I think too, because now I'm doing it with 100% wool, the stitch definition is even better than when I did it with the Wonder Fluff, because that is like an alpaca nylon wool blend. And this one is just 100% Peruvian wool, I believe. And it's really great. I'm super excited with how it's turning out. I was helping, so the sweater is by Janis, and I was helping her with the Makealong the knit-along that she was doing for the pullover that just ended yesterday, actually. It was a lot of fun for our last, so she was hosting Zoom calls every week during the Makealong, and I was helping out with that. And it was so nice to just be with community and see how other people were approaching the pullover, or I think some people even made the jacket too, and sharing their stories and their experiences and then making it. I absolutely loved being a part of it and meeting so many wonderful people. For those of you who were in the group who are watching now, hello. It was so nice hanging out with you all on Friday nights. I'm gonna miss it. Hopefully she does another Makealong and we can all get together again soon. Yeah, so this was really cool. I finished the body of this. I'm gonna start the sleeves. Like I said, I cast on in the recommended US size 9. I did the first little bit with the short rows with the 10, like it says in the pattern. And then just because I wanted to change it up a little bit with my second time doing this, I'm using a US 10.5 for the body. And I'll also use that for the sleeves. When I tried it on, because the yarn is a little bit different, I didn't have to make it as long as I did with using the Wonder Fluff. So I'm one stripe shorter, which now I know I'm probably going to be one stripe shorter in the arms as well. And the fit is fabulous. Literally just making it to the pattern, just changed the needle size. And yeah, I think the end result is going to be a little bit, doing my shoulders, it's going to be a little bit more, it's already a comfy, cozy sweater, but it'll be a little bit more chill of a relaxed fit, I think. Not as tailored, I want to say, as the other one that I did. So I'm loving this. Super excited to get onto those sleeves soon. This is a bulky weight pattern. I'll link it below. I will also, if you don't use I'll put the Ravelry, put the Ravelry link to the pattern. And also, if you are not using Ravelry, I will link to Janis's website as well. She has the pattern for this. So that was number 1. Number 2 is, again, housing it in my beautiful sister bag. I can't even with this bag. It's so good. This is just one of their shawl size bags. All the bags from Beautiful Sister are named after women in their family. So I don't remember the name of this one. I think it's Jocelyn, but I could be very wrong. The yarn I'm using, oh, sorry. What am I talking about, you guys? So the next thing that I've been working on is I did a little bit of work on my dotted rays, which is a Stephen West pattern. Actually, I don't have the pattern I don't have my iPad in here, but this is in the West Knits Best Knits #1 shawls. And since I was sort of putting together, you can see, like, put some of my yarn up in my little cubes, saw this book and was like, oh, I think the dotted rays is in here. And it totally is. I can show the pattern for it. If you don't know, this is the dotted rays. Maybe go like that. Actually, oh, there's nothing on here. This is just talking about the pattern. Dotted rays, Stephen West. I've made a scrappy one of these before. And so I wanted to try something a little bit more in the same color, or using just like one yarn instead of just like finding scraps or leftovers and compiling those together to make one of these. So I'm using Trilogy yarns and the Mirage color. I think I have the ball band here. I do. Hurrah. So this is Trilogy yarns on her plush base, and this is the MCN fingering, and it is 80-10-10. So 80 merino, 10 cashmere, 10 nylon, and it's 450 yards to the skein. And what am I doing? What am I doing? In the Mirage colorway. So it's got a lot of greens and browns. It's really beautiful. If you haven't already, you should go, hopefully this won't get blown out. You should go, having a window now is in front of me is really awesome. Oh, that'll work there. So you should check out Trilogy Yarns. We love Nancy. She has great, beautiful yarn in her shop. So I wanted to try this. Actually, I bought this. I think I talked about this last time. I purchased this because I made an order and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. And before I moved, I was just like, I want to cast something on. And so I thought, oh, this would be cool just to try doing a dotted rays in this. So here, make sure things aren't falling off. And what's the front? This is the front. So here's where I am with that. It's a little bit scrunched up, sort of hard to see right now. I think the last time, let me find my little progress. Okay. So last time I was here and I've done, which is a little bit deceiving because the shawl is in short rows. Like this side is really small, but then because the short rows get bigger over here, there's a lot more happening on this side. So I did manage to put 1, 2, 3 wedges into the shawl. I'm absolutely loving how it's working up. And yeah, so this is the smaller side. You can see, so what I'm doing is for the stripes, I'm adding stripes to it. Or not adding. It's written in the pattern that you can put stripes in it if you wish. So I'm adding stripes to it, and what I decided, because I wasn't going to have enough of the trilogy yarn, is I'm just using leftover mohair. So from my Snuggle is Real. They weren't mine. I made them for my cousin for gifts for her friends. So I'm using this silver and just like literally pulling them out of my bag. So there's yarn going everywhere. And this, I think it's carbon. Yeah, so these are both knit picks, just leftovers. And I'm holding those together with just some bare, if I can get it out of the bag. You guys, what is happening right now? Just some bare knit picks. I think it's the Stroll, or maybe it's the Felici. Stroll? I don't remember. You guys, go back to the last episode when I had better notes and had everything written down and could speak a little bit better about it. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm holding this together with one of these. So I'm alternating between the silver and the carbon, depending on which row it is. So one was silver. The next time I go through, I do it with carbon. And I absolutely love the way that it is working up. So over on this side, you can see it a little bit better because the wedges are closer together. And then this little tab on the end is just all the mohair and the bare knit picks. Loving, 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 loving this. I actually, last night when we were done doing some work around the apartment, got to sit down and finished one of the sections and realized that if I wanted to, I could have cast off last night in the small version. But in true Michael fashion, I decided that I was going to do the large version because I'm going to use up as much of the yarn that I have as possible. So we'll see how far that goes. Again, I think I talked about this last time. If I don't have enough of the Mirage color, I'm thinking about just using the bare and the mohair to do the last, as I cover my face, to do the last little wedge at the top of it, which I think will be a nice little cap onto, yeah, that shawl. I'm loving how it's working up. It's really great. It's very mindless. So especially since we're doing a lot of stuff around the apartment, it's a fun knit at the end of the evening to just like, oh, okay, I don't have to think about anything. Well, I mean, I do have to think about it because they're short rows, but like there's no wrapping, there's no picking up stitches. I can just knit, 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 knit. Put my little markers in where I need to for where I did the turn or whatever, and just keep going. So that's been really fun to work on and very calming at the end of days where it feels like we're doing so much. It's like working from home and, you know, having moved, doing all this stuff, it gets a little, what's going on? So we all need something that's a little relaxing at the end of the evening just to take our mind off things a little bit. The last thing that I've been working on, this is also in my beautiful sister bag. This is a sweater bag. I love this thing. It's huge. I have a little Mr. Rogers pin, friend of the pod pin. I told you all last time that I was working on a test knit, or I was gonna be working on a test knit. So my yarn came, which is super exciting, and I could start that. There's no photo of it because it is a test knit, so the pattern isn't out yet, but I do believe it's coming out second week of February, possibly. Anywho, let me make sure I have the right side. So this is a test knit that I'm working on for James Watts. It's a sweater called Earth and Air. Here, I finished the body of it, which is kind of wild. So here's that. It looks like it's small, but when I tried it on, it fits just to where it should, like it hit my waist perfectly. Um, and when it blocks, it's going to be a little bit longer. And this sweater it has 8 to 10 inches of positive ease built into it. So it's gonna bloom a lot once I actually block it. Um, I've seen some of the other testers, they have done short sleeves on theirs. I think I'm gonna do what the pattern says and do a fuller sleeve. I might make it, what is that, 3/4 length? I don't own anything like that, so I thought that might be kind of fun just to do a 3/4 length sleeve. They're kind of, there's no decreases in the sleeve, can I say that? So there's no shaping to be done to it. I think that's fine. Anyway, so the cool thing about this sweater is, let me put my hand in there, is this is done in a worsted weight and a mohair, and it's all brioche. So working back and forth between the two, so it's like ultra, ultra squishy. It weighs absolutely nothing, which is kind of wild. And I'm loving working it up. I think it's so fun. I don't own anything like it. And I just thought it was a really neat, when I saw him post that he needed testers for it, I was like, oh, this seems really cool. I would love to get in on that. So the yarn that I'm using, this is kind of a knit picks parade today, y'all, is my main color is the Wool of the Andes worsted in Cobblestone Heather. And and this is 100% Peruvian wool. And Knit Picks does theirs in 50 gram skeins, and it's 110 yards per 50 grams. And I'm pairing that with this, it's actually better on this side, with the Aloft lace weight mohair, and it's 260 yards for 25 grams in the Kenai colorway. So I'm putting these two together, the mohair and the Cobblestone Heather, and it's really great. Like, in all honesty, it takes literally nothing to make this. I was really surprised at the yardage. I think I ordered 4 balls of the worsted weight, and I'm going to use a little bit more than a ball of the mohair to complete the whole thing. It's wild. It's done on, what size are the needles? On US 10.5. So it's a huge needle with the mohair and the worsted weight, and it's making for a really awesome fabric. I personally feel, I'm gonna fold it in half actually. I think because it's gonna be so light and airy, hence the name Earth and Air, it's gonna be really awesome with just like a long sleeve shirt underneath, like I don't want to say a t-shirt because it's not a t-shirt, but you know what I mean, just like a long sleeve undershirt. Really awesome for spring, fall, possibly even the weather too. If you have one of those like nice thermal shirts under, great, great, great. Excuse me. So I'm really digging this, super excited. Hopefully, no, not hopefully, I will. It'll be done by my next podcast because I have to have it finished before it's actually released. Like I said, I think James put on his Instagram, it's the second week in February sometime that this pattern will be coming out. So definitely keep an eye on that. Super size inclusive, low yardage, great, great, great fun knit. I think I did just the body in maybe a week's time. Is that true? Yeah, maybe about a week. I did the body a little bit over. It's brioche, so you have to focus a little bit if you haven't done brioche before. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Sorry, I'm just like staring at it like, what else can I say about it? But I don't know. It's really great, and I'm super excited to finish it, to get to show you all, and for everyone to be able to go and cop the pattern once it comes out. A couple other things. So, like I said, I've been doing some organizing with my cubes behind me and all of my yarn, which is one of the great things about moving. Is I could really take an assessment of what I had, see what I wanted to do in a new space. Some of the stuff didn't make it to the cubes, which is totally fine. Now that I have a closet for some of it, some of my bulky weight stuff is gonna stay tucked away. They don't need to be on display. And another thing I did was I actually have a box sitting next to me. Here, I can show you. I took a bunch of my acrylic worsted weight and sort of like DK weight. Look, here's the whole box. It's just like what's happening in here. And my housemates, if you've seen my first episode, I showed off. I made a StarFlanket earlier last year. Yeah, like before the summer. So earlier last year, I made the StarFlanket, and it's sitting on the couch in our living room right now. And at some point, one of us has been cuddled up in it, especially since it's cool here right now. And one of them was like, "Oh, it'd be really cool if you have the stuff to make another one, and then we can have two of them flanked on the couch." And I was like, "Okay, I love this idea." And so as I was putting some of the stuff away, or finding a home for it, place for it, I just pulled out all the scraps that I had of my worsted and sort of DK-ish weight, and I think I'm gonna make another scrappy StarFlanket at some point. So that'll be really fun. So put that in a box so I know that this already has has a pattern in mind. I feel like I've done that a few times on here where I've shown stuff and I'm like, oh, this is one day gonna be this. But I like that. Like, I think I've talked about this before too. Like, I like having more purposeful buys. Sometimes I will buy things not thinking of like what I'm going to use it for. And so hopefully throughout me doing these, which is helping me to keep track of things as well, I'm going to start getting to more and more of those. Like last time I showed the fade kit that I got from Murky Depths for the Quake shawl that I want to start, and I love that so many people, you all gave me such great feedback saying that the yellow was such a good choice, that Little Miss Sunshine mohair that I paired with it, actually that Debbie recommended that I pair with it. So that was really good and reassuring. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm happy other people like this, and I think it's going to look good on me, or I'm hoping it does. And so the same thing, like, this is going to be this at some point. Hopefully I'll get to share that with you all throughout the year. Clearly, it looks like there's still going to be time for us to have a little bit of craft time, as well as, well, for me, making over an apartment and getting settled in here. Yeah, so there's a lot of future stuff happening coming up that I have in my head. I wish I was better at Ravelry and making things in my queue, but to me, my brain does work that way and it doesn't. Like, I see something and I'm like, oh, this is what it's gonna be. I'll tuck it away over here, and just like I have little piles, places of this is gonna be this at some point, which is wild to me. Let me think. I think that might be, sorry, I'm gonna have a little sip there. All from the knitting content. Oh, I do have a little holler-back. So I was watching the latest episode of the Boozy Bears with Vincent and Justin. Yes, names, right? Boozy Bears podcast. And they were doing a list of podcasts that they love watching, and they mentioned mine. So hello, fellas. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't checked out Boozy Bears, I would definitely go over and check out their podcast. They're funny. They're chill. It's great. And other men in the community who are crafting, showing off what they do, which is why we're here. All voices want to be heard and seen. And yeah, it's just other people putting their makes out there and showing off what it is that they're making. So give them a watch if you haven't already. And yeah, I think the last thing I want to do is a little... Oh, no, I'm kidding. I lied. So before I talked about, I wanted to do something in the Ravelry group. So you all, here's what I'm thinking. I can't believe that February is literally next week. Wild to me. And so I'm thinking that in my next episode, I want to possibly talk about having a little knit along. And I want to do it in March. And I know some of you are thinking, like, that's far away. Why do we need to know about it by the next episode? Well, the next episode is going to be February. And I figure I'll have a little bit more of an idea of what Makealong I want to do. Just because I thought it'd be fun for all who wants to join in creating, making things together. And I don't know about you all, but I enjoy doing make-alongs. I do a couple throughout the year. I literally just finished one and I'm still working on my project, but it was fun to be with community making things together. So I want to start a make-along in March because it's my birthday month. Yeah, and so I'll announce that next episode. That way people have time to gather things for their projects. If you're like me, maybe you don't have things in stash or you want to shop stash, to just start pulling things. And it'll give you times to either find the pattern or a pattern to work on during the make-along. Yeah, so if you haven't joined the Ravelry group, please feel free to head over there. It's Piece4Peace Podcast group over in Ravelry. Yeah, and let's have a little make-along for the month of March. It'll be spring. We'll be sort of bringing in spring, depending on where you are, not only in the world but on the planets. So it'll be hopefully starting to become spring by the end of the month here, where I am in Chicago. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's exciting. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys will be excited for it. Last thing I'm going to do, like always, a little music recommendation. You all, again, if you have joined the Spotify playlist that I've put up for the group, it's a communal playlist, so people have been adding music to it. We were painting the apartment and they were just like, oh, can you just put something on? I don't have my record player and stuff set up yet because we want to paint the living room. So some of my records and stuff are still packed away. I've been trying to pull stuff while I've been here. So this is my second time doing a podcast since I've been in this space. So I'm like, oh, let me try and find something. So we just have a little jam box and we'll hook up our phone or whatever. And I put on the playlist on shuffle. And we just rocked out to that for like a few hours while we were painting. The things that are added are so great. I love all of the foreign language to me songs that are on there. And yeah, it's just such a great mix of all kinds of music. It really took us on a journey while we were doing stuff around the apartment. And I will be honest, there were a couple times where one of us would look at each other and we'd be like, so whoever added this was feeling sad that day, which I'm a fan of sad music. Yeah, it's fine. I'm living for it. But there were a couple times where we're like, oh, that was really sad, or this was really beautiful. But it's a great mix. People, please keep adding things to it. It's so wonderful. If you haven't already followed the playlist on Spotify, feel free to add a couple songs to it, jam out with other makers in the community. It's a really, really good time. So this week, you all, actually, I want to do 2 recommendations because last time I wanted to do one of them, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find where I had put it when moving stuff into the apartment. So I'm going to do 2 because that's fun. So, and the 2 of them I'm showing are for similar reasons. So the first one up is going to be this Janis Joplin album, Pearl. I think it was her second album, came out after she passed, I do believe. And this album's really great. And the reason that I wanted to show it last time was because on the 11th of this year, 11th of January of this year, it celebrated its 50th anniversary, which I thought was totally wild. For me, music is sort of timeless or can be very timeless. And so when I hear that albums are turning a certain age, I'm like, wait, what? How is that even possible? Um, I was not alive when this album came out, but it is a really good album. Her voice is great. I love her raspiness, the screaming that happens sometimes. Um, really great. So we probably all have heard, maybe you haven't, Crybaby, great rec from this album, obviously the whole thing. But Crybaby's really good. Me and Bobby McGee is excellent. Makeover is really good. Or not Makeover, sorry, Move Over. Can you read? I can. Move Over is really good. So those would be my three from this album. So Janis Joplin, it's with the Full Tilt Boogie Band, Pearl, 50 years. We love that. First recommendation. Another anniversary that literally happened this week, and like when I saw it, I was like, this can't be possible because I remember when this album came out. And so the second one I'm going to recommend, because it's having its 21st anniversary, so it's legal, is D'Angelo's Voodoo. I'm trying to not get the light on it. Cue Megan Thee Stallion's Body Yaddy 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 Yaddy. So D'Angelo's Voodoo album. This album came out 21 years ago I think it was released January 25th. I love D'Angelo. Amazing artist. He is very much in the group that I would categorize as like very heavily Prince influenced, which I'm a huge Prince fan. I'm actually surprised. I think I said this before too, that I haven't shown any of his music on the channel yet. But the awesome thing about this album, and I think most of his albums, is he like wrote, played half of like almost all the instruments, arranged, produced, blah, 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 blah. The whole album. Absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal album. A couple tracks on here that I would recommend are The Root is good. I mean, the whole album is amazing. You guys, you already know this already. I think all of them are amazing. I'm just giving you three to check out, or check out the whole album anyway. So The Root is really good. Spanish Joint is awesome. And I think the song that most people know from this album is Untitled, How Does It Feel? So that's parenthetical. So check this album out. D'Angelo, Voodoo, celebrating 21 years. Pearl by Janis Joplin, celebrating its 50th this year. Check out the playlist. Add more music. We'll need it in this house for sure as we continue making over, painting, putting things away, moving boxes, unpacking boxes, and things like that. So I think that is it for me this time around. Again, if you have enjoyed what you've seen, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, ring the bell so you know for future notifications for other videos that I'll be posting. Yeah, let's keep building this Peacemaker community, you all. It's been so nice reading everyone's comments and seeing people share their stories of how they started knitting and things over in the Ravelry group. I've been hearting everything, trying to read stuff. I definitely have been replying to people if you comment down below. Yeah, loves it, loves it, loves it. So thanks you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. And yeah, you take a little bit of time out to, hopefully you've been doing this while you've been watching, to craft this weekend. And so until the next time I see you, don't forget, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.